Here's another question. Is it necessary to make improvement mandatory, to set a goal for how many projects people should be involved in? It seems like people won't participate unless we make it mandatory. So all these questions today actually, I think, have a couple of questions within the question. For one, I think, I wouldn't call these projects. If we're trying to get people involved in improvement, calling something a project is going to sound like a big change that may trigger the amygdala, and people might say, I don't have any big ideas, I don't have time to participate in a big project. So I would use a term like improvements. How many improvements should people be involved in? So I've worked with and studied a lot of organizations that have set goals or haven't set goals. They've had aspirational goals. We'd like you to do 2 improvements every year. Some organizations will set kind of a quota or a target saying you must do X in a year. And sometimes targets and goals and incentives can get dysfunctional. To me, the real spirit of continuous improvement is self-motivated. It's something that we want to do because it makes our work easier, because it helps our patients or our customers. It helps the long-term good of the organization. So to me, the thing that drives improvement activity is the variable of leadership. Activity, behaviors, level of effort. This is not about being smart with improvement, it's about working hard at improvement and continuing to do that. So I've seen organizations without goals, targets, incentives do extremely well with continuous improvement, and it comes down to, again, that variable of leadership. How do we engage people?
And I think Daniel Pink's book Drive really breaks down the behavioral science here really well. Mm-hmm. I would argue that CI experts should probably be in their professional reading, 50% of what they read should not be about lean. 50% of what they read should be about behavioral science. This is 100% about humans and how to motivate humans and how humans work together. And so if you haven't read it, you should literally, as soon as you're done with this webinar, go pick it up physically or electronically and start reading it. You will understand more about yourself. You'll understand more about your interpersonal relations. You'll understand more about your colleagues at work, and I think it speaks a lot to this specific topic. There are certain places and times when quotas are the right way to motivate people. Continuous improvement is not one of those places, and because of, and you hit it on it, Mark, because of the dysfunction that it brings. If you say you have to do an improvement a year, 2 improvements a year, 1 a month, then all of a sudden you're creating an environment that's going to reward junk, and it's going to reward the wrong thing. So we work with a number of organizations that have done both, and we work with a number of organizations that have flip-flopped between them as well, and it's been really interesting to see the result. But one organization we're working with that initially had a quota of 1 or 2 improvements per month, so they had this just volume of improvement, and that was they said, okay, we're not going to do a quota anymore. We're going to kind of move more to the Daniel Pink incentive, internal, what's the word I'm looking for? Internal motivation. Thank you. Internal motivation and intrinsic motivation.
Intrinsic, right.
They realized, wow, we have a lot fewer ideas, but the quality of those ideas are actually creating much bigger impact in the organization. So I would definitely challenge you, if you're thinking of going down the quota route, then really think of it more as rewarding accomplishment. You know, use a badge system, recognize people, give small tokens of a Starbucks gift card. You talk about a lot, Mark, as a great. Not that we're promoting Starbucks. It can be insert name of. But I think what you're going to end up realizing is it's going to feel better, and it's going to ultimately drive greater and better impact for the organization, which is what this is all about.
Yeah, that's well said. And one other point I'll make is that goal, that target, sometimes becomes a limit. We want you to do 4 per year. And people do their 4, and they say, well, I've got another 6 ideas, but I better hold them in my back pocket because I don't know if I can come up with 4 ideas next year. They might ask for 6 next year. So sometimes that leads to people holding back, which is not